Hello, 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 and welcome back to today's podcast. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you guys had a really nice holiday. We are coming into the new year. As I record this should go out before New Year's Eve. And what is everybody thinking about? How am I going to make more money? What am I going to change in 2023? All that good stuff. Now, here's just a little advice from me. Don't wait until the beginning of the year to change things. You have all year. You have tomorrow. You don't have to wait until the beginning of the year. I don't know why people do that. They think it's either now or never. And then they, might say, hey, these are my financial goals for 2023. And then they end up doing something, buying something. Something happens where they're not meeting that financial goal. And they're like, well, I guess I can't start till 2024. No. You can start anytime you want. But I have been talking about this on the TikToks about the future requirements and really what it is going to take for our millennials, even the boomers, really. I mean, how inflation is truly affecting our dollar, how expensive everything is getting, what is that going to look like in the future? The fact that we should always have our money liquid so that we can do things to create cash flow. So I have this really super cool calculator called the Future Requirement Calculator, and I am going to plug that information in for you. If you have seen my TikToks, this is going to be a little bit easier to understand because I don't have to go through it quite so quickly. So if you are not listening to this and on my YouTube channel, I would highly suggest that maybe this podcast, you actually go to YouTube and you can find me there, Mary Jo Irmen, and listen to this podcast by watching it because I am going to share that calculator with you and I want to show you those numbers. Now, if you're just that super smart individual that can listen to things and remember them very well, fantastic, good for you. The audio is going to be best. I am not that person. I need to see them and then I need to slow it down. And so if that is you, make sure you go over to YouTube. And then while you're there, just subscribe to the channel. Okay. All right. So let's talk about future requirements because this is extremely, extremely eye-opening. And I want to share this with you. So let me go there. All right. So let's say that we're just going to use 30 years old as an example. Now, we can go back and play with this and just act as if you're 50 as well, because ironically, a lot of people come to me at 50 and say, oh, hey, I should probably get my act together and start saving for retirement. But let's just look at 30 as an example first. And let's say that we have a household income of $100,000, okay? Now, a lot of people might say, oh, that is a lot of money. That is not. I see a lot of 30-year-olds making $100,000. I frankly don't care if it's 70,000, 80,000, whatever it is. This is going to be eye-opening. So then we also have a form piece here that says existing assets. Now, most people in their 30s are not actually saving, so I'm just going to say we do not have any existing assets. Okay, total taxes. If you are making $100,000 a year, you are in a 22% tax bracket. So let's put 22% in there. And how many times are you going to Starbucks, eating out, going on vacation, doing things that are considered a lifestyle? And let's say that 33 cents of every dollar, so 33% is going there. And then let's say that you are spending 35% on debt. Now, if you have read Becoming Your Own Banker, you know that Nelson says every single family spends 35% of their income on debt. So, and I don't care if you are a Dave Ramsey fan, you are continually buying things. And so if this is less, absolutely fantastic. But if you look down here, that shows that we have 10% of our money going to savings. So this is indicating we have a 10% income saver. Let me tell you, Most people are not saving 10% of their income. They are lucky if they are saving 2 or 3% of their income. The next field, percent of current income for retirement. What this means is how much of that current income do you want to live on when you retire? Do you want to live on $100,000 at retirement, or do you want to live on $80,000 at retirement? Let's just say that you want to live on $80,000. So we're going to live on 80%. Most people are going to say, well, I'm going to live on less. Now, I think that's just a bunch of horse baloney. That is not, I'm not going to live on 80%. I want to live on the same amount of money I'm living on today. I do not want to change my lifestyle. No, so I'm going to plan for 100, but let's say that it's 80, okay? So now how many years do we have until retirement? Well, if we're 30, that means we have 35 years, to retirement. That gets us to 65. Well, inflation is 15% right now, but let's say that it's 4 on average. That is kind of what we use as an inflation number. Well, what does that show? That means that we need $315,000 a year to live like we are living today on 80 with 4% inflation. That is huge, absolutely huge. But it gets better, okay? How much, if we put this into an investment, let's say we're putting income into a 401k or an IRA and we're doing the traditional savings, that traditional system tells us that we should be able to take 4% out every single year and still have enough money to live. So let's say that we're going to take 4% out of our investment. That means that we need $7.8 million. In 35 years, we need $7.8 million saved to live like we're living today on 800,000, okay? Or on 80,000, sorry. That is $2 million of today's money. If we are saving 10% and we need 7.8 million in the next 35 years, what do we need as a rate of return? How much do we need to earn every single year, no matter what, no downturns? 12.64% rate of return every single year. Now, okay, that's fantastic. That gets us to 65. What gets us from 65 to 85? Right? So now, how many years until we die? 55 years from today. Well, what do we need to earn? If we need $315,000 a year, what do we need to earn every single year to get us to 85 years old? 8.33. So from 65 to 85, we need to earn an 8.33% rate of return every single year. My friends, this is worth 4% inflation. And we're only living on $80,000 a year. Now, I hope that everybody's income is going to rise and inflation is going to slow down. But let's just change a couple of these numbers. What happens if we want to live on 100%? Then we need $9.8 million saved in tomorrow's dollars, and we need to have $21.6 million that is going to get us to 85 years old. That's if we save 10%. Most people are not saving 10% because their lifestyle is eating it up, and so is their debt service. This is absolutely crazy because you're supposed to save yourself into retirement. I cannot take 10% of your earnings, put them into life insurance, and give you a 13% rate of return. I can't do that. So what do we then need to do? We need to have liquidity of money. This is where the life insurance policy is so important. Because if we put money into a 401k or an IRA, that money is gone. It is not liquid to do other things with. But what happens if we put that money in a policy and we can borrow against it and still buy cash flowing assets like real estate, like businesses? Now we've got some cash flow coming in, right? If we're farming with that money, we have the farm ground. Maybe we have cattle, whatever it is that we can sell later, we can rent out later. We've got cash flowing assets. At retirement, we don't just need this big pool of money to retire from. We need something that's generating income. Okay? Now, this is why IBC is so important, and so many people, I believe, so many agents think that they can tell you to save your way into retirement. I mean, let's just say we reduce our lifestyle to 28% and now we're saving 15%. Well, now we only need an 11.82% rate of return. But what are we going to do? We're going to sacrifice Parkinson's law, right? So that now we have more money to save, but if we don't save it in the traditional means and we save it in life insurance, we still have liquidity of that so that we can do things with it. So let's just keep going and play with these numbers just a little bit here, because I really think this is kind of fun. So let's say that we're going to live on, let's go back to 80%, okay? And let's go back to saving 30, let's go back to a lifestyle of 33. We're still saving 10%. We are living on $80,000 a year. What happens if inflation goes to 5%? 1% more inflation. That takes us to $441,000 instead of the $315,000 that it was. Okay? $441,000 a year, like we would live today on 80. And we need $11 million saved now. Instead of, and I know I'm going back and forth here, but I want to see the numbers because I didn't write them down. Instead of 7.8, we need to go, we need to go to 11. $2 million, $3 million more, just because of 1% more inflation. Talk about the biggest theft the government could absolutely take from us. Inflation is the silent thief here. Now, let's just change some more numbers so we can see. What happens if we are not 30? What happens if we are 50 and we have 15 years to retirement with a 4% inflation and we make $100,000 a year? Okay, now we're going to need $144,000, but you need $3.6 million to retire in 15 years. That means that you need a 34.25% rate of return. Where are you going to get that? And if you pass away in, okay, so what did I say? You're 50. So you're going to pass away in 35 years. So that means you need an 8.33% rate of return here to live like you're living today on $80,000. Well, what if you say, well, Mary Jo, we're 50, so we make $150,000 a year. Okay. Well, now we need $5.4 million if we're going to live on 80% of that. The moral of this story, and you can see this, is that cash flow is so important, and I say it all the time, as is liquidity of money. because we need to have that money to do other things. That is why when you listen to people talk about savings and 401ks and all of these things, what does that mean? How much do I have to have saved? And what is the likelihood it's going to get me to where I need to go? If you've read my books, you know the difference between average and actual rates of return. The average means absolutely nothing. It is an absolute waste of time to even talk about average. What has actually happened, and apply that to my numbers. And guess what? We're going to be without money because we have ups and we have downs. And I have been listening to several podcasts, and they're all talking about how 2023 is going to be a recession. We are going to have a huge downturn in the market. Now, I don't have any money in the market, but I love to listen to what they're projecting. And they're all saying, you need to pay attention. If you have money in the market and it is not with somebody that has gray hair managing it and they are not paying attention to the ups and the downs, then you better find a new financial advisor, because what we are going to see in the next year is nothing we've ever seen in history of our stock market, because there is going to be so many swings in what is going on. And so I find that very interesting, that we can't just do what we've always done, which is put money there and let it sit. Now, if you guys know me, am a huge believer that we shouldn't have any money in the stock market. Unless you're doing it and you know what you're doing, why would you put money there? Why would you not be using your money so you can start a business? You can do what you know so you can make more money. Why give money to somebody else and then you go to the bank and borrow money to start your business, or you don't have money to do marketing for your business, or whatever that might be? You know what you know. Even Warren Buffett says, invest in what you know. Warren Buffett knows the stock market, right? Warren Buffett's brother is a farmer, and guess what? He doesn't have any money in the stock market. Well, I shouldn't say that. He probably doesn't have much in the stock market. If he does, Warren Buffett is the one that is managing it for him, not him himself, because what does he know? He knows how to grow corn. That's what he knows how to do. And so make sure that you have that money liquid. But if you are not, these numbers are so important, because we are not understanding how inflation is killing our dollar. Think about the people that are retired. How much more money it's going to take to live today than it took to live 12 months ago. Astronomical. Those people that are retired are severely feeling the effects of inflation. And it is not good. Your retirees are saying, you know what, I'm not going on vacation. We're not going to do this. We probably bought less Christmas presents this year because everything was more expensive. Our groceries are more expensive, so we're going to eat less. We're going to drive less. They're cutting back because they don't have any cash flow coming in, and they're feeling those effects. If we have something at retirement that creates cash flow, like let's just say rental properties, guess what? Rents rise and our cash flow remains the same, and we don't maybe have to adjust our lifestyle quite as much. That is the goal. The goal to get there, though, is to have the liquid money to do those things. So IBC is so good in conjunction with those other things. But I believe understanding the true future requirements is extremely important. So I hope that helped you guys kind of at least open your eyes. That's what I've heard every single time I use that calculator with clients. They are blown away. They had no idea that is what they were going to need. Everything is just going to get more expensive. It does not matter. I heard that the feds want to keep inflation about 4% on an average. So we could have some really high years. We could have some really low years. We have to pay attention to what they're doing and how the system works. We cannot just go, oh, I listened to that person's podcast and they said buy real estate. No, you need to pay attention to what is going on in the government. You need to pay attention to what the Federal Reserve is doing. You need to pay attention to what the banking system is doing. All of those things work in conjunction, and we feel the effects of that as the consumer. So let me know if you have questions, comments, concerns. If there's something else that you would like to see, I would be absolutely happy to do that. I have lots of calculators, so I might just use these calculators from time to time because they really are eye-opening. As always, Mary Jo at Without the Bank. If you have any questions, comments, whatever, happy to answer those. Otherwise, you guys grab the book. If you haven't grabbed the book yet, read the book. If you have got it, I had this client last week, Chris, and Chris said, Mary Jo, stop telling me to buy the book because I got the book. So if you're Chris, just fast forward through these parts. If you're like Chris, sorry, I got to tell people to buy the book or they won't buy it, okay? So grab the book, then meet with me, and I am happy to help you because, yes, I am the life insurance agent that can help you, and I am IBC certified, so I teach it the way Nelson meant for us to teach it. Go to withoutthebank.com, grab your book, let me know if you need anything. Have a great rest of your day and a Happy New Year.